Hello friends. In this video we bring you volume 11 of our 10 Unsolved National Park Disappearances. It's one of our most popular series, so sit back, relax, and have a listen. Dwayne Miles. On October 19th, 2021, 78-year-old Dwayne Miles told friends he was planning on going on a day hike and would be hiking off-trail south of the Graves Creek campground and exit near Graves Creek Corral in Olympic National Park. He was reported as overdue when he failed to show back up the next day. He was last seen on October 19th at the Graves Creek trailhead wearing black rain pants and a camouflage jacket. He was known to carry a dark-colored backpack. Dwayne is 5 feet 9 inches tall, weighs 185 pounds, and has blue eyes. He is described as a fit and very skilled hiker who often travels alone off-trail looking for shed elk antlers. His vehicle was found parked at the Graves Creek campground, and the search is focused in that area. His friends were conducting their own searches, while dog teams and foot searchers conducted extensive searches as well. Nobody came across a single clue as to Dwayne's whereabouts. The search on the 20th included National Park Service staff as well as search and rescue teams from Olympic Mountain Rescue, Everett Mountain Rescue, and Olympic Corrections Center trackers. Another search began late on Saturday the 22nd with a quick look around the area near his car. Sunday's windy, rainy weather curtailed search efforts, but on Monday the search intensified, but again to no avail. Anyone who has visited the Graves Creek area since October 19th or who has any information regarding Dwayne Miles' whereabouts is asked to please call 888-653-0009. Kim Crumbo and Mark ONeal. Mark ONeal, 67, of Chimacum, Washington, and Kim Crumbo, 74, of Ogden, Utah, both retired from the National Park Service, were reported missing by a family member on September 19, 2021, after they failed to return from their 4-night backcountry trip. On Sunday, September 19, park crews located a vacant campsite with gear on the south side of Shoshone Lake, as well as a canoe, paddle, personal flotation devices, and other personal belongings on the east shore of the lake, the National Park Service said. Despite Mark's body being found the next day, and after an autopsy concluded he had died of hypothermia, Kim's whereabouts are still unknown. Yellowstone National Park officials have confirmed that the search for Kim is now being called a recovery mission, as the authorities say they are looking for remains at this point. Kim Crumbo, a former Navy SEAL, spent 2 decades working as a river ranger, park ranger, and wilderness coordinator in Grand Canyon National Park. He was a member of the Potawatomi tribe and a board member of the Rewilding Institute, a conservation program. He was also a frequent contributor to the Salt Lake Tribune, which reported he was known for writing letters to the editor about protecting wolves, wild horses, and the environment. The Park Service said the average year-round temperature at the lake is about 48 degrees Fahrenheit, and survival time is estimated to be only 20 to 30 minutes in water at that temperature. Recovery efforts for Kim Crumbo included boat crews and foot searches. Sonar equipment, dog teams, and helicopter crews also joined the effort, but no trace of Kim has been found. If you have information that could help investigators piece together a timeline of events, or if you were in the Shoshone Lake area between September 12th through the 19th, 2021, please contact the National Park Service at 307-344-2428. Joel Thomason. 31-year-old Joel Thomason went on a solo hike in Yosemite National Park, telling friends of his plans to hike from Hetch Hetchy to then fish in Lake Eleanor and then return to Hetch Hetchy. He began on the 6th of September 2021 and was due back on the 9th. Joel is described as a white male standing 5 feet 10 inches tall with hazel eyes and brown hair worn buzzed short. Park officials noted that he may have decided to stay out longer and extend his trip to Cherry Lake to the north or east as far as the Grand Canyon of the Tuolumne River. Park officials are asking all wilderness travels north of Tioga Road and between Cherry Lake and Tuolumne Meadows to report possible sightings of him or any unattended or possibly abandoned equipment. They added that he was likely carrying the kayak packed in a large red pouch attached to the exterior of his backpack. His family provided this list of additional equipment he may have had with him, which includes a floppy boonie hat, a dark blue or gray hammock, large yellowish tan caddy pack, U.S. Army steel cup dated 1918, camelback type red and black day pack, a black and yellow collapsible sink, a bright red inflatable kayak, a small collapsible stove in a black bag, a kayak paddle, a Petzl Zipka headlamp, a yellow bear can, a Garmin Tactics Delta Solar GPS watch, a bright green mummy-style sleeping bag, and a fishing pole with other fishing gear. He was wearing tan or blue zip-off pants. Park officials ask if any of these items are found, please leave them in place, note the location using coordinates if possible, take photos, and email the information to yosemite.search.rescue@gmail.com. Or you can call them at 209-238-7046, or you can call or text the National Park Service Investigative Services Branch tip line at 888-653-0009. If anyone saw someone fitting that description during these times, they're encouraged to call Yosemite Search and Rescue at 209-238-7046. Richard Judd. As of July 22, 2021, 72-year-old Richard Judd was the third person that month to have been reported missing in Yosemite National Park. Richard and a still unidentified hiking partner were camped near Lower Merced Pass Lake when they went on a day hike towards Lower Ottawa Lake and Red Peak Pass on Sunday, according to the National Park Service and the Madera County Sheriff's Office. They got separated from each other somewhere between Lower Merced Pass Lake and Lower Ottawa Lake. Richard Judd's hometown has also not been made public by authorities at this time. Lower Merced Pass Lake is about 15 miles from Happy Isle, the trailhead where people can start the Mist Trail and hike to the Half Dome cables. The hike from Lower Merced Pass Lake to Red Peak Pass is about 3.5 miles. A vehicle belonging to Judd or his hiking partner was parked at the Quartz Mountain Trailhead in the Sierra National Forest and outside Yosemite National Park, about 23 miles south of Lower Merced Pass Lake. Authorities describe Richard as being 5 feet 11 inches tall, 150 pounds, with brown eyes, short gray hair, and a beard. He was last seen wearing a blue shirt and gray or blue pants. His last known location was in the Yosemite backcountry, about 15 miles from the popular Trailhead Junction at Happy Isle on the Merced River. Anyone with any information is urged to call or text the National Park Service Investigative Services Branch tip line at 888-653-0009. Yosemite National Park averaged between 16 and 17 fatalities per year from 2014 to 2019, according to Park Service statistics. Over that same span of time, Yosemite Search and Rescue personnel conducted an average of 240 missions annually. There were 133 deaths in the park from 2007 to 2018, the second highest total among national parks after Lake Mead National Recreation Area on the Colorado River in Arizona and Nevada, which had 201 deaths, according to a 2020 analysis by Panish, Shea & Boyle, LLP, a plaintiff's personal injury law firm with offices in Nevada and California. Yosemite was the 14th most deadly national park during the same time span when factoring in the number of visitors, with 28.01 deaths per 10 million visits. Stephen Van Pelt. Just after 11:30 a.m. on July 23rd, the Sheriff's Office received information about a climber, identified as Stephen Van Pelt, 33, of Salem, who had fallen during his descent on Mount Jefferson. Deputies learned the climber had fallen among extreme mountain terrain. A witness described losing sight of him after he fell several hundred feet. The Sheriff's Office said resources, including 6 mountain rescue teams, searched for Stephen over the last several days among the extreme mountainous terrain with glacier drifts, falling rocks, and debris. The decision to suspend the search was announced a few days later. The Sheriff's Office said the Van Pelt family is aware of the decision and have been conducting their own searches. The Linn County Sheriff's Office was assisted by Marion County Sheriff's Office, Benton County Sheriff's Office, Corvallis Mountain Rescue, Eugene Mountain Rescue, Deschutes Mountain Rescue, Portland Mountain Rescue, Hood River Mountain Rescue, Oregon United Emergency Management, Oregon Emergency Management, United States Army National Guard, Air Force Reserve 304th, Life Flight, Idaho Fire Department, Detroit Fire Department, Amateur Radio Emergency Services, and the United States Forestry Service. There is a bit of a strange twist here. The witness claimed to have seen Stephen fall, but lost sight of him after several hundred feet, as previously stated. But if that's the case, whether they lost sight of him or not, they know where they had seen him and led the police and search teams to that exact spot almost immediately. So, why haven't they been able to find his remains? Why was there no sign of anyone at all ever falling in that area? No disturbance of the land below whatsoever. This witness's statement is the reason this started and ended as a recovery mission and not a search for a live and missing person. There have been no updates or answers in this case since July when it all happened, and the National Park Service and other authorities have been very tight-lipped. Mount Jefferson, which stands at 10,495 feet, is the second tallest mountain in Oregon after Mount Hood, and the only major volcanic center in the U.S. portion of the Cascade Range that hasn't erupted in the past 10,000 years. Ellis Bodin. On July 15, 2021, a 4-year-old boy named Ellis Bodin is believed to have gone missing sometime in the evening hours while with his family in the Jean Lafitte National Historical Park and Reserve in Louisiana, United States. The child is believed to have fallen into the water of a murky and swampy canal. His mother immediately dove in to try and save her son, but to no avail, as she seems to have lost sight of him almost immediately in the dirty water. Authorities almost immediately began building a dam to start draining the canal in search of Ellis' remains, and the Jefferson Parish Sheriff's Office said the dam would take 1 day to be completed. However, with the dam completed and after 6 days of relentless searching with no results, the underwater search was called off. The decision came after a temporary earthen dam built to help drain a 500-foot section of the swamp had been a complete failure when the dam broke. We knew this dam was an Army Corps of Engineers project, Sheriff Joseph Lopinto with the JPSO said. I think we accomplished a lot more than I would have ever expected. Officials had hoped that draining the area would give them a better chance to find the 4-year-old's body in the dark and debris-choked water. We always knew it was a long shot, Sheriff Joseph Lopinto said of the canal draining plan. It wasn't a Corps of Engineers designed product. We utilized the equipment we had in front of us and the volunteers we had in place to put a good plan together. I think we accomplished a lot. The search would continue in a way, as it was stated by authorities involved that it would be a passive one from that point on. This meant the authorities would still keep boats in the water looking for disturbances in the duckweed and on the surface, but will not be employing active techniques such as sonar equipment or divers unless we see something that indicates they are needed. During active operations, we typically have divers in the water constantly searching along with the sonar equipment when it's available, said the Jefferson Parish Sheriff's Office. During the active search, the authorities and search teams were able to check alligator dens using the sonar equipment. Our job is to put the pieces together and figure out the whole picture. This is one that I would love to put all the pieces together to find the child, Sheriff Lopinto said. We've exhausted a lot of options. Our investigation goes where it leads us. If the naysayers say the body is not in here, prove me wrong. We will continue the investigation as much as we can, the sheriff said. Even though there is no real closure, a memorial sits at the site remembering Ellis, a boy who the community truly proved through all their hard work how much they care about him. 6 days after the boy fell into the water and the extensive and grueling searches began, the crews cleared out and everything was expected to go back to normal, or as normal as possible. A family friend said that Ellis loved to play with toilet paper and Kleenex. She also said he was such a happy-go-lucky child who loved Mickey Mouse and the movie Frozen. John Davis. On October 24, 2021, a 48-year-old man named John Davis from Humboldt County, California, was hunting and hiking with his son when he disappeared during some unusually heavy rains which had hit the area that night. John was last seen in the early morning hours near Highway 162 at the 8 Mile Bridge near Covello. On October 27th, the next day, authorities found his dog, but there was no trace of John himself anywhere. Search teams started out on that exact 8 Mile Bridge in the hopes of finding him alive and well. Family and friends requested the help of the community at large, and particularly asking anyone who lives in the area where he was last seen to look at any surveillance footage they may have, and also to try and remember if they've seen John or anything suspicious or out of place. A Facebook page was set up by the family which contains suggestions on what to wear and bring on the search. It urges everyone who would like to search is asked to wear reflectors, download the Onyx map, and bring walkie-talkies. They also ask folks to come prepared if you're willing to camp out on the mountain during the search. The page also states, rain is supposed to hit Monday, so far as only Monday, so bring rain gear if you plan on coming out that day. John Davis from Humboldt County is described as having brown hair and blue eyes, stands 5 feet 11 inches tall and weighs 220 pounds. He was last seen wearing a camouflage rain jacket and neon green pants with reflective stripes. The Mendocino County Sheriff's Department requests that anyone with any information, please call them at 707-463-4086. Lester Youngs Whitmire. Lester Youngs Whitmire, 65, was last seen a few miles east of Oak Ridge near McCready Hot Springs in June. He was staying in the area and had spoken to a family member on or about June 18th of 2021. He was reported missing on July 2nd. Whitmire's belongings and vehicle were located in the Willamette National Forest east of Oak Ridge. However, his whereabouts remain unknown. Lester is described as white and has gray hair and brown eyes, stands 5 feet 10 inches tall and weighs 210 pounds. He is commonly seen with a beard and glasses and has ties to the Redmond area. The Lane County Sheriff's Search and Rescue Team continues to search the area. This is all the information publicly given at this time about Lester's disappearance. Anyone with any information regarding his whereabouts is asked to please call the Lane County Sheriff's Office at 541-682-4141, option 1. Robert Allen Wildener. 76-year-old Robert Bob Allen Wildener of Apple Valley, California, was reported missing on May 7, 2021. He was reported to be camping around the Hot Springs area, possibly in an attempt to repair and retrieve his other truck that broke down over Easter holiday. He failed to return or contact his family as expected on May 5, which led to them reporting him missing a few days later. Saline Valley, where Bob was supposedly going to visit and spend some time, is in a remote area of the national park, with the 55-mile drive from Big Pine taking close to 3 hours because of the rugged road. His keys and cell phone were found in his truck at his campsite, a broken-down Ford F-240/350 long bed. ONeal County Search and Rescue has been scouring the area near and around Saline Valley for any sign of Bob, but nothing has been discovered at all as to where he could have gone or what could have happened to him. Both ground teams and aerial reconnaissance helped out in the search as well. One member of a social media group described his usual attire as always wearing a baseball cap to protect his bald head, white facial hair, most likely wearing shorts, a t-shirt, and flip-flops. Probably has a backpack with him or a robe that he would wear from the hot springs. Search teams included 15 members from ONeal SAR, Mono SAR, China Lake Mountain Rescue Group. Canines were provided through CARTA, and aerial support was provided by China Lake Naval Weapons Base. The temperatures were reaching as high as 94 degrees on most days, and even peaked at 105 degrees in Death Valley. It was not safe for ground and foot searches, which thwarted that day's efforts. Aerial recon continued, however, with a large-scale grid search planned for that Thursday morning. No updates have been posted in this case since June. In December, a San Francisco man was found dead in one of the thermal pools at the primitive campgrounds, which was closed because of lockdown restrictions. Jessica Sweeney Stacks. It's been almost a year, and the fate of 28-year-old Jessica Sweeney Stacks is still unknown. She was reported as missing just after 10 p.m. Friday, January 1st, 2021. Jessica and an unnamed male companion launched a boat in the Tallahatchie River that morning at County Road 46. The two planned to float downstream in the little aluminum boat when the water was high. People often shoot wild hogs from the river, but it's unclear if that's what she and her male companion planned to do. Jessica later got out of the boat, but there's no information as to why she did this or where she went. Authorities were notified about 10 p.m. that night after she failed to turn back up. about 50 people were originally searching for her. The number later dwindled to about a dozen. The searchers included 2 game wardens from Itawamba County, members of the Union County Search and Rescue, and the Union County Sheriff's Department, as well as an MHP helicopter and a thermal imaging drone. Authorities searched until around 3 a.m. January 2nd, and then resumed the search the next morning and into the night. On Sunday, officials searched all day until dark. The search area included an area from County Road 46 at the Tallahatchie River Bridge on Mississippi Highway 30 West in Etta. Searchers combing the area later located the boat about a mile upriver from the Rocky Ford Bridge. Her purse was in the boat, authorities said. The sheriff declined to identify the man she was with. Jessica left several footprints behind near the river, but she hasn't been seen since leaving the boat. Her boots were later found. They had been cut off of her. Her coat and gloves were found near her boots. She didn't have her cell phone with her at the time she left the boat. It was later located and turned in. Jessica had 3 children who are now being raised by a relative of hers who lives in Texas. Anyone with any information about this strange disappearance is asked to call the Lyon County Sheriff's Department. This is the most recent information in the case, and it's worth saying here that the Rocky Ford Bridge is known for being very haunted and has had many tragedies, both unexplained and otherwise, happening on, near, and around it. Well, folks, there you have it. Another 10 mysterious disappearances from around the country. I look forward to your thoughts in the comment section, but we do ask that you please keep it friendly and respectful. In the meanwhile, be good to yourselves and each other. Stay safe out there in the woods. And I'll see you just a little further down the trail. I'm Steve Stockton, and I'll talk to you next time.